nobody's going to meet in an alleyway and it be friendly. Like, that's not how it works.
Welcome to the Charlotte Buzz, where we drink beer from local breweries while telling stories about the neighborhoods they're from. I'm Chrissy, this is Dru, and stick around for a little later in the show after we discuss those neighborhoods when we break down the winners of round 2 of the Buzz bracket and give you some previews of the matchups of the Elite 8.
Pretty excited.
Oh yeah.
So today we are drinking How to Change Your Mind from Resident Culture.
Ding, 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 ding.
It is a 6.3% IPL.
Hey.
India Pale Lager in a West Coast style.
It really happened because I'm like dyslexic or something, and I was like, oh, I want to try this one.
Yeah.
And IPL, not IPA.
And turns out it was your favorite of the flight. So we'll see what you think about it now. The description that Resident Culture had there was crisp, bitter, clean, piney, and dank.
Dank?
Not really sure what dank is. You see it a lot. You know, maybe we should figure out what that means.
Yeah.
Also, they have tiny crowlers.
And the crowlers are 25.4 ounces, and normally they're, 32?
I think so, yeah.
And so it's not, it's smaller. It's not wildly smaller, but it's just small enough that we got 2 because...
It's like a fat tall boy.
Yeah. I just
It's not
emptied
like
it
an
into our
extra
glasses,
tall
and
boy.
I still have an inch plus open in mine, and he's got pushing an inch open in his. So yeah, let's pop the second one. What do you think?
Sure.
Yeah? Okay.
So, I mean, yeah, we got 2 because they were smaller than we usually go for.
And I don't know that we needed a full 2, but, you know,
Yeah.
can't hurt, right? Except in my pouring abilities.
Oh, my goodness.
We'll set that guy back there for a minute.
Yeah, keep it over here by me so I can pour me some more.
Rude.
Untapped, actually. The description on Untapped tells us what the hops are.
I'm going to take a sip while you talk.
All right. It's got Simcoe, Amarillo, Centennial, Citra, and Galaxy. The thing about Resident Culture, I feel like, is they just, every time you go, they have a completely different menu.
I agree.
tap list.
I have never...
I don't know if I've drank the same thing twice.
Yeah. I mean, do
or
they
it was
have...
possible to.
And I mean, a lot of the breweries do obviously have small batch, different, like experimental brews and all kinds of stuff that are constantly coming and going, but they always have a handful of staples. I couldn't tell you a single thing that's even remotely a staple.
Yeah, so
there.
Their top 3 is Thunderstud, Whatever You Feel, Just Dance It, and Vicky Virago. I don't think we've had Vicky Virago before, yeah, but I don't think none of those were on the tap list the other day.
No. Mm-mm.
So, interesting.
Yes. It tastes sort of IPA-ish. Like, it's definitely...
Must be the India Pale part.
I mean, it definitely will drink. I enjoy it. It tastes... This is an Indian Pale Lager, isn't it? Right?
Yeah.
I was literally about to say, it tastes a little bit more like a lager. I hate myself.
Yes, it does. You're correct.
But, I mean, it does. It is literally a good mix of an IPA and a lager because that's literally how I would have to describe it right now. Crisp.
Sure.
Hoppy.
I get
It's not nearly as, like, thick or full as the other ones that we've been drinking. Especially with Resident Culture, they can get real deep into their thick double, triple
we
quads.
Tried the quadruple IPA, which I liked. You not so much.
Yeah, double is my real happy place.
Mm-hmm.
I like that kind of thickness, but the triple and starts getting to be a little too much for me. But yeah, so Resident Culture, founded in 2017, September.
Hey, it'll drink.
Will it? I already know that. That's why I don't even let you talk anymore. What did you think about the flavor? Tell me about the flavor.
Well, I definitely get the piney.
Okay.
I can taste the pine.
Did you gnaw on a tree before this?
No, I've had like a Christmas beer from something like Magic Hat.
Okay.
And it was like basically pine tree.
I was going to say in a glass, but...
Yeah. And that was a little much. Because it was literally like you were drinking a Christmas tree.
Yikes. And you just love Christmas. So.
Yeah. So I didn't really like that much. And I tasted a little bit in it here.
Okay.
What they described as piney anyways. Mm-hmm. So it's not too much in this one. It's a nice hint of it, I would say.
I don't have the same range that you have when it comes to beer tasting just yet, so I can't say that, but I have primarily love IPAs, and I would say the second most common thing I've tasted is lagers because...
Well, you're from Pennsylvania, so...
Yeah, Yuengling all day. And I've tried so many times to like Yuengling, just even though I'm definitely a Southern girl at heart, and even though I would never live there again, that I could really legitimately guess. Out of, just nostalgia and solidarity, I'd like to like it.
Sure.
But not there yet. But I've tried it the most in other lagers, similarly, so. Yeah,
at one point that was my go-to beer, so I'm a fan.
And then I came in and said, nope, you're going to drink all the IPAs so you can finish the ones I don't like.
I don't know. I mean, sure.
So, Resident Culture, founded 2017, September of 2017, so they're about a year and a half old. Resident does hold a kind of special place in my heart because it was the first brewery opening. I was going to say the first brewery, but I don't think that's true. Definitely the first brewery opening I've been to here. And so that was just a cool experience. We went, and even though everything is constantly changing there, like we said, with their menu and everything, it's just a cool place, and it's cool to know, even though we don't go there that often, like we were there from the start. Yeah. And I just kind of dig that.
Yeah. Interesting artwork.
That was literally one of the notes I had, which is they have a very unique art style in the building, on their cans, on their crowlers. It's just all very...
And I think they use like one person to create all their artwork.
It's definitely the same style, but it's very unique. And they're kind of known for that funky, sort of out there vibe. I would say they've become so popular so quickly because, as we've talked about, the IPAs are really, really popular right now. And that's their bread and butter.
Yeah, specifically New England IPAs.
Yeah.
They may have started the craze.
Maybe.
I'm not, I mean, if anybody can tell me different, sure, but as far as
in our experience, yeah. And that's what, they're known for the hoppy, hazy IPAs all day. Even their lagers hint toward the IPA flavor profile. Yeah. So we are going to jump into the Plaza Midwood neighborhood, and we've hit this before with Catawba, and we both jumped pretty deep into the past on that one, give a good foundation of the area. I believe if you've listened to any of these podcasts before, you know that we don't know the stories the opposite person is telling before we get on the show, but we do sort of hint around, like we beat around the bush a little bit with each other just to
make sure we don't do the same one.
Right. Yeah. And so before we started today, we kind of did the, are you doing, where are you at in the timeline of history? And so both of us did go much more modern with today's episode, just trying to kind of swing in the opposite direction. And obviously we'll have plenty more chances to come back to Plaza where we may fall more in between, but we have not a full idea, but a sort of miniature idea of kind of where we might be going with these.
Yeah.
That's about it. So instead of Deep Past, if you're looking for any of that, go check out the Catawba one. And now you're going to get a little more current. And then we'll see in the future what other ones hold. So I'm going to turn it over to you. Tell me things.
Yeah, so mine happened over the past week.
Okay.
It all went down. And boy, did it go down.
Did it?
Yes.
If anybody ever needs like private eye services from an unlicensed PI, call this man up, because his level of internet research and ability to find crap is impressive.
This story's all over the place now. But
I say that like I really know what it
I
is.
could have definitely went a lot further. But I know we're trying to keep it to the point.
Yeah, trying to keep these stories a little shorter.
Yeah.
While we're in the midst of the bracket, because we've got all the winners to discuss and previews to come. But tell us.
So I'm going to be talking about Pizza Peel and Andrew Woods.
Okay.
So
again, this is something I had an idea was coming.
You saw a headline.
I saw a headline.
Yeah.
So I took a guess that that's what you were going to talk about. But really, beyond the headline, I refused to read anything else because I assumed. So I am 100% ignorant on anything involving this minus a headline.
Well, I am, other than this little bit of research I did.
Well, still.
There's a lot of stuff that I'm going to be like, I don't know how it went down. So I can't. I can't give my opinion on something I don't know about. So
I respect that a lot because most people don't think that way.
So Andrew Woods was a bartender at the Pizza Peel on Central Avenue in Plaza Midwood. Last week he was fired. Last week he was fired. And the situation has led to a protest from Woods this past Monday.
Okay.
I have in here Woods and his followers. I don't know if followers is the correct term, but it's people that believe Pizza Peel was in the wrong.
Okay. So maybe by followers, it's literally like internet followers who happen to live in the area.
Yeah, and saw his post about meet him here.
Okay.
At this time. So, Andrew, or I could call him Mr. Woods.
You gonna be
but
fancy.
People might think it's Tiger.
We in the South, ain't we?
Yeah. He actually doesn't dispute the actual firing. He is quoted as saying that he has been fired before.
From the same place or from another place?
Other places.
Okay.
Well, I say places. I don't know if it's more than one. But he has been fired before. But what he did not like and what he is protesting is the Pizza Peel had 3 cops waiting for the termination meeting.
Wow. That's a bit much.
Yeah. So this all started when Woods made a post. Well, this specific incident started when Woods made a post on his personal Facebook page calling for brutal harm to all white Republicans who support President Trump.
Oh, boy.
This group, who has been called conservative group, also been called white supremacy group, and also been called a white right-wing group. Deplorable Pride saw this post.
Oh, goodness.
According to their website, they are a conservative LGBT voice and used this post of his to call for a boycott of Pizza Peel. So they posted Pizza Peel's information and said, call them and tell them that you won't be, who they have working for them, basically.
Right.
And leave negative reviews. So that doesn't really make any sense to me, because that doesn't have anything to do with the other, I don't think. Right. But I mean, if their pizza's good, leave good reviews. If you don't like their pizza, leave a bad review. Right.
And if homie spits in your pizza,
or cause a problem while you were there.
Sure.
But anyways, so
I mean, just for the record, as I completely disagree with what he said.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, yes, never cause harm to anybody. And
yeah,
I tend to, quite frankly, lean libertarian. But, you know, if I have to pick conservative or liberal, maybe slightly conservative leaning.
Well,
but I also think Trump's an idiot. But I would still never call for harm on anyone. So, like, just for the record, we don't approve of him actually saying that either.
I'll get to that.
Okay.
There's a lot to get into.
I believe
here.
it.
There's more to the story.
Fair enough.
So Woods then made a Facebook Live video asking for inviting Republicans and white nationalists to fight just 2 blocks from the restaurant.
Oh boy.
And that's
so they had been posting reviews and calling and saying all that.
Yeah.
And so that's what led to that.
Yes.
Okay. Carry on.
And then that's what led Pizza Peel to firing him. Or that was their justification or their reasons behind it, they say. The way it all went down was Andrew's bosses sent him a text message to come in.
Okay.
A day he wasn't working, supposedly. And it seemed pretty cordial. He asked, there's like screenshots of the text message that he put on his Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
And they asked him to come in. He asked what it was about. They said his social media post. He said he was going to talk to his council, not his council, but he was going to talk to council. And so instead of doing it that day, if he could put it off for the next day.
Mm-hmm.
So meeting is set for the next day. He shows up. There's 3 cops there. So the way he sees it, you know, they called cops to escort me off of a premises that they invited me to.
Yeah.
Basically. Kind of strange. And he says in some article I saw that in North Carolina, you could actually text and call an employee and fire them. So if they were afraid
of any issue, they could have just done it via phone in some way, shape, or form.
He said that he never gave them any reason to believe that he would, you know, do anything to them.
Right.
It's just interesting that they would just jump to that. I mean, I can kind of see it.
Sure.
Without knowing their relationship, that he's.
I could, you could definitely see it either way.
Yeah.
Like he's showing aggression
yes.
in his posts, so you never know what aggression could come out. Mm-hmm. However, none of that aggression was ever remotely directed at them unless this debate happened on premises between him and them.
Yeah.
So, in theory, there's no reason to expect it either.
But the story takes a twist.
Oh, goodness. It always does, doesn't it?
This is not the first time he has been fired for his beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
He was actually a bartender at Divine Barrel.
Oh.
In 2018.
Okay.
So he had a run-in with deplorable pride while he was there.
So we've already got bad blood before Pizza Peel ever came in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they started doing the same thing that they now have done to Pizza Peel to Divine Barrel.
Gotcha.
And so the Divine Barrel owners and management sat him down, and they came to a mutual understanding, you know,
that he would
was
move
leaving.
On.
Yes.
Okay.
So, mutual understanding, no cops needed.
Mm-hmm.
But part of this mutual understanding was that they had connections with Pizza Peel.
Mm.
And so he started working for Pizza Peel right after that.
Okay.
So, Pizza Peel knows
that he's got a history.
That he has a history with this. Accepted that.
And still upped the ante when they chose
to call the cops. Yeah.
Right.
So.
Interesting.
You know, it's like, I mean, you knew what you were getting into.
Mm-hmm.
And
you've seen it get to this point and see it be managed fine.
Yeah. Maybe they ran out of connections. I doubt it. They own multiple restaurants.
Right.
So this all happened last week.
Mm-hmm.
Monday morning around 9 a.m.
Oh, boy.
A allegedly armed man was shot by the CMPD at a Burger King on Beatty's Ford Road.
Oh, no.
Protests started because other people were saying that he was unarmed.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know what happened there, but Chief Kerr Putney briefed the media and said, "We get here, engage the subject who is armed. There are multiple commands to drop the weapon as we engage him outside in the parking lot." At some point, one of the first arriving officers perceived a lethal threat and fired at least one round, striking the subject. Here's where problem with this comes in.
Oh, boy.
He says, perceived a lethal threat and fired at least one round.
Right.
Do you know anything? I mean, does anybody know anything? And we won't find out until they, body cam.
Right.
They do the
weeks
investigation.
And weeks and
he did, Chief doesn't know. He wasn't there.
Sure.
So, okay. I understand that, I guess.
You got to make a public statement, and you got to say what you know, which isn't really anything.
Yeah.
So,
and it also says here that investigators also found a gun at the scene, and it is believed to be the suspects.
mm-hmm.
Oh,
right.
Is it?
Right.
But that'll all come out later.
Mm-hmm.
Interestingly enough, though, that Burger King is owned by Stomp, Chomp, and Roll Restaurant Group, who owns Pizza Peel.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why I told you that story. So that's Monday, 9 a.m. So people on Twitter start making the connection of called cops on this guy. Kid gets shot here. They have nothing to do with each other. I mean, Burger King didn't shoot the guy.
Right.
It's a coincidence, if anything. But people are making this connection. And the story's just building and rolling. So that's happening throughout the day. Fast forward to 6:30 p.m. and there are 20 to 30 protesters led by Andrew Woods walking down Thomas Street heading towards Pizza Peel.
Oh, no.
The group entered the restaurant chanting Black Lives Matter and filing in around the diners.
Okay, so I guess I should pause on this whole thing because, quite frankly, the question did arise, but I was like, no, that's an irrelevant question. It shouldn't matter. Yeah. So I didn't ask it. But at this point, I assume he's an African-American male.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Carry on.
I didn't say that earlier.
You didn't, and it shouldn't have mattered.
Yeah.
And obviously now with a Black Lives Matter chant, doesn't change anything, just adds more to the story, I guess.
So the group entered the restaurant. Now, the 20 to 30 protesters, it looked about half and half, maybe white heavy.
Okay.
But they're chanting Black Lives Matter. They have the man's who was shot earlier's name and says, say his name and all this stuff. So the police were called again because they're in there, disturbing the diners. And the standoff went on for about 45 minutes. They're just standing in there. There was like a Twitter guy who was like live tweeting this, but I didn't want to write all this. I mean, they were just chanting things or just saying things to the cops and the owners and stuff.
So relatively peaceful. I mean, like disturbing the peace, but not in an aggressive,
no.
Any kind of way.
It doesn't seem that way. No, there were like curse words.
Right.
But I don't.
It's a disturbance, but it's not violent or even remotely aggressive per se.
I didn't get that.
Okay.
Didn't perceive it that way. So the police ended up saying that if they didn't leave, they would be arrested. I guess disturbing the peace. I don't really know all the...
Yeah, I don't even know all the rules, quite frankly, of like... I know you have freedom of assembly, but I don't know what restrictions are on like property versus...
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
All that, but.
So... Upon the urging of Woods, actually, the protesters went outside.
Okay.
And he stayed inside for a meeting with the owner and another guy, I believe was like a HR dude.
Someone who works with Pizza Peel.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I thought that was pretty interesting that Woods like kind of was like, hey, just
let me
step
mediate.
outside.
Yeah.
You know, let's see where we get to.
Mm-hmm.
Well, during this meeting, he demanded 4 things.
Okay. Oh, goodness. All right.
Every restaurant owned by Stomp, Chop, and Roll must display a Black Lives Matter sticker on the door for 1 year.
Oh, boy.
Each location must donate $1,000 to charities that benefit black people. All of the managers will undergo sensitivity training administered by black, gay, and trans people who are paid for their training. And $1,500 per month in food to the homeless in the community surrounding each location.
None of those are innately bad.
Yeah. You're not in a place for demands. Though.
Agreed. Yeah. I'm like, none of those are innately bad. I think the minute you start demanding them causes more of an issue and maybe like muddies the water of like, oh, let's have sensitivity training. It muddies the water, makes it hard. And you're not in any kind of a position for actual
semi-admirable requests. They were not.
They're not innately bad requests. They are.
They're not like
in an
attempt
attempt to help people. Yeah, it's for other people. It's not selfish gain. Like he would benefit, obviously, but not like it's for a greater group of people, not like him personally.
Yeah. So they refuse the demands because they're demands.
Sure.
I mean, don't.
Right.
Yeah, they're demands. And when he got back outside, told everybody that they refused demands and said, in quotes, that was volume level 1. Next time we go to 5 guys. And that's not 5 guys burgers. That's 5 comma guys. So
volume level 5. Got it.
So I don't know. Nobody knows what volume level 5 is. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's just a strange story, and there are more to this, but I didn't really. During all this stuff of him threatening harm to these people, not to Pizza Peel,
right,
but to white supremacists, he is also getting death threats from members of Deplorable.
Sure.
According to him. Mm-hmm. And he has also threatened them. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, nobody should threaten anybody.
Right.
Like,
bring the love in, people.
I mean, it's just a strange story. I think everybody...
It's so strange, but I think it's also a very common commentary on where the world is.
Yeah.
Like, when you finally break it down to, like, one individual and one, small group or whatever... I don't even know how big the group is, but for the sake of my story, I'm going to call it a small group.
They're like 4,000.
Yeah.
Are you talking about Deplorable Project?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I mean, I imagine it's bigger. I just imagine like some local chapter or something of like a dozen people. I don't know. But you break it down into like individuals and you're like, this is freaking crazy. Like, and it's getting so out of control and you're trying to threaten them and they're threatening you and it's just escalating and it's all crazy. And you're like, whoa, people, just calm the heck down. It's fine. You're cool. Carry on and live your lives. Even if you have good intentions, bad intentions, good inclusive thoughts, not inclusive, whatever you're thinking, you have the right to think it. Just don't hurt other people. Don't whatever.
Threaten other people.
Right. And so like breaking it down individually, you see that and you're like, oh, this is nuts. And then you escalate that times 1,000,000 to the freaking country or the world. And you're like, oh, yep, that's normal.
Yeah. I think it's a story full of overreactions.
Oh, yeah.
It's I mean, Pizza Peel overreacted probably. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I don't know the full story of their relationship. Mm-hmm. But it seems to me that they may have overreacted. And he overreacted. Mm-hmm. Deplorable Pride overreacted. Shoot, even the cops may have overreacted. Yeah. When they perceived a threat. Mm-hmm. So it's just full of overreactions. And somebody who doesn't even really react
to anything.
It's confusing to me to see that because it's like, what? And like this guy, Andrew Woods, on a whim, got 20 to 30 people to show up to protest this company.
But that's what I think is like, there's just such high tensions. Like, and again, you don't react to anything, not really. Yeah. And like, I know I have my moments of things that I do, but I like to think that generally I don't react to a whole lot of things. Maybe I'm just kidding myself. I don't know. But, so it is a little hard to kind of see, but there's certain things that, just really like deep down in a person are this like huge fire button topic. And yeah, you post something on social media and say, hey, like these people are calling us down. Let's go. And yeah, they're waiting at the door. They're ready. Like that's what they're.
Yeah. And to me, it's not just that. Like I see that, but he got these people to show up. And then when the cops, he's like, just go outside. Let me talk to these guys. And they did. So he's probably a good leader. Yeah. And he has good, intentions
to
with
a certain
this,
degree,
feeding the homeless, donating to charities that benefit Black people. Like, do something that is helpful and raises money with, because he says, he's an activist now. Like, just do that. Don't threaten people.
Right.
Don't,
being
make demands.
Right.
Like,
that's not what being an activist
raise this money somehow. Hold, do an event, work with other people, get the word out on the issues of the homeless not having food in the community, and raise that money yourself.
Right.
Like, you seem like you can. And
like.
Yeah. I don't know.
So, yeah, in a total...
There's just a better way to go about it.
That's what I was going to say, is like you can have a way to be an activist by just, clearly you have some sort of social media influence. You're obviously now building up a lot more attention and, whatever. Use that in a better manner. Yeah. And so, like, not a comparable situation whatsoever. But in the ridiculousness of a couple weeks or even months ago now, I don't know, my calendar in my head is shot, but when Casey Neistat did that whole thing like trolling Burger King because Burger King was trolling all these social media influencers, and he made this whole video that was basically saying like, screw Burger King, they screwed me over because they like sort of used his influence without his realizing it to like promote their product. And he made this kind of parody video of like, screw you guys, and then was like, but actually that was freaking brilliant. Yeah. And then came back and said, but you know what? Like, now that I helped promote your thing, kind of unwittingly so, how about we do some good too and use this whole momentum to donate money? And so he just kind of pitched it to them that way in a video and said, hey, like, call me and let's talk. And they ended up donating all of this money to like Boys and Girls Club of America and some other like local youth things. And they were just like, yeah, let's do that. That's great. Like, just appreciated the camaraderie of the situation. Whereas if he came in and literally said, screw you guys, you use my influence, I demand you to do this, even with a good intention of like, let me support the Boys and Girls Club, that would not have gone well at all.
Yeah. Like, just take your platform that you have, no matter how small it is, and do something good with it. Like, it seems like he's when
you're looking for more inclusivity, you're looking for more mutual respect in the world, rightfully so, but to earn it, you have to give it. Yeah. And I think you would get it a lot faster and a lot more sincerely if you did it the right way.
Yeah. So, that's what I got. Just an overreaction story.
I mean, yeah. I think 100% transparency's sake is we should say that we are obviously recording this late in the day on Tuesday. Yeah. Because considering this much has happened between Monday and Tuesday, who knows by the time Thursday morning comes and this gets posted, what'll have happened.
That's true.
So just for anything that we may miss in this story, that's why.
Yeah.
So. Well, that's fun. Cool. Well, I'm going to transition into not nearly as chaotic times, but I guess you could find a way to tie it in. I jokingly said earlier that I was looking to the future with my story. If you can call it a story, it's just kind of a couple of tiny tidbits to sort of round out the Plaza Midwood area. And I'm watching him refill a beer and waiting for him to drop it with his shaky, shaky hands. Go ahead and top me off there with whatever you got left. Mm. You can drink it when I don't.
So get to your future knowing.
So again, just a kind of little tidbits to round out the Plaza Midwood area, because I'm trying to keep it a little shorter with all the bracket stuff coming up. So the only thing I'll say about the past, Plaza Midwood, established in the 1920s, we've discussed that before, and then officially declared a Charlotte neighborhood in 1973, which I don't think we specifically discussed, but kind of
because a lot of stuff happened before that.
Right.
So.
And so I just kind of stumbled over that fact in process and was like, I'm just going to put it out there, set a stage. So I wanted to talk, like I said, is looking into the future is more about programs and initiatives that the community as a whole are currently implementing and working toward to develop the Plaza Midwood area as a neighborhood and ultimately all of Charlotte, but specifically looking obviously in the Plaza Midwood area. And I specifically was looking through the Plaza Midwood Neighborhood Association and the Plaza Midwood Merchants Association.
Those are things.
They are things. And I didn't really distinguish between one or the other. Obviously, they do very different things. One is more neighborhood oriented and one is more...
Merchant?
What? But they do a lot of work together where they just partner with things. Yeah. And so I'm going to list off a bunch of initiatives and things that they're working toward. And I just mushed them all together because there was so much overlap. And even if there was one that was primarily belonged to one, the other was supporting it. And two hands, same body. And then I want to dive slightly deeper into just what a couple of those initiatives look like.
Okay.
So some sort of superficial type of things, I guess.
Okay.
They have a community garden.
Ooh, vegetables.
Meant to help kind of like, beautify the area and get people more involved with what that looks like. They also do a lawn of the month, which is also, helping incentivize and promote.
To make it look good.
The pretty things in life. They have a Best of Plaza Midwood, where every quarter they select a merchant, a neighbor, and an educator. It's like a person, a store, and an educator. Yeah. And they highlight them. And then I don't know if they get specific prizes or if it's just like, hey, you get kind of blown up for the quarter.
Yeah.
But they specifically go out of the way and like share their story and how they're making an impact on the community and developing it. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Cool.
They have specific land use groups where they actually sit down every so often and discuss the impact of the development and the land changes and how they can, again, kind of preserve the history and the unique identity of the area while also finding ways to move into the future and just, merge them very well. Kind of the standard things, neighborhood watch. They've started developing more dog waste stations, like, little doggy bag, poop picker-upper bags and whatnot. Just trying to...
Dog waste stations?
Waste stations.
I was like, well, you never know when you need to weigh your dog.
Well, duh. It's like driving through the interstate and you gotta hop off with your truck.
Yeah.
Make it far enough and maybe see how much weight your dog lost. I don't know.
Yeah, 18 pounds.
Yeah. So they just ultimately got to a point where they've identified that as part of their community is the dogs, so.
Or there's just too much dog crap on the sidewalks.
I mean, yeah, that too. They have a stroll and roll.
Hold on. Do people rollerblade while pushing their kids in strollers?
No.
Okay. Bummer.
Yes. This actually kind of goes with the next one, which is the Parkwood and Plaza Streetscape. And it's basically they're having all of these meetings and trying to work in high traffic intersections and make proper ways for bicycles and pedestrians to be able to maneuver in traffic with the growing influx of people.
Okay.
So it's kind of two different things, but ultimately moving towards the same goal of just...
So stroll, pedestrians, roll, bicycles.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
and
just trying to...
scooters.
Sure.
Okay.
Finding the best way to keep it obviously allow the traffic flow to happen, but still trying to keep it more the pedestrian and bike friendly area that it's more known as. They have a student entrepreneur summit, which is one of the things I'm going to come back to and talk about a little bit. We have a neighborhood skills session, which is the other one that I'm going to kind of come back to in a minute. And then being the kind of funky artsy area is there's murals all over the place, which are meant to help preserve the vibe and give nods to different areas. They have a quarterly Midwood market, which is just
a market.
Yeah.
Every quarter.
It's kind of like a block party almost, where like everything sort of shuts down and it's just everybody out on display with everything that they have to offer. They have a 4th of July pig picking. They have, which is again like another block party type of deal. Yeah. They actually have almost every season they have a different local party that is more or less like a block party where kind of everything shuts down, but everybody's out there on display and just having a good time and just out in the open in the area.
Things they sell on display, not themselves.
Yes, it's not like a nudist party. Okay.
Everybody's out there on display.
I mean, I reckon if you really wanted to,
showing what they have to offer.
Could make it happen. You never know.
Everybody on display showing what they have to offer. Sounds like a good time.
There's a lot of local fundraisers and things too, which, I mean, Pizza Peel is in this area. And so that's why I'm listening to you talk about all of this stuff with the story. And I'm like, Plaza Midwood is known for these fundraisers, known for these supporting and moving, like helping encourage the next generation of everything. And so I'm like, it's kind of hard for me to swallow also because I'm like, you are in a prime location to actively work with your community to develop good programs and to push for greater social change. And I just don't think you're doing it the right way, man.
They may or may not be. We don't know.
And the last thing I have on my list is just merchant meetups, which I thought was cool too. It's kind of just like you can join the Merchants Association, and it's basically just a networking tool to put a face to a name and get a chance to just talk and see how you can collaborate with other merchants in the area. Some upcoming events that they have in process, they're working on traffic signal box wraps, which we've made note of this in South End, especially this past weekend when we had the volunteers cleanup event, is you've got these big like metallic gray boxes.
They're like a green color though, aren't they? Sometimes.
I'm not sure.
Like a light green.
I think it depends. Okay. But they're just there. They're just mechanical. Yeah. There's nothing special about them. But again, Plaza Midwood's a very artsy area, and so they're working on a contest where our local artists were able to submit their work, and basically that'll be scanned in on this giant decal, more or less, that gets wrapped around those boxes. And so it's just a way to help improve the visual aesthetic of the area and also
help an eyesore be less of an eyesore.
Yeah, and promote those local artists. So that's something that they are working on. They're doing more with like bringing in more trash cans and stuff to help it be more pedestrian friendly as well. They're working to remodel the Midwood Park Amphitheater and do several other park improvements. They're working on a Briar Creek Greenway. More greenways. People running, biking, all those things that are moving that you don't like.
Probably getting murdered.
Well, that escalated quickly.
That's where it happens. Yeah. I hear. I listened to a lot of true crime podcasts.
Yeah.
Seems like a good
He's looking for murder around every corner. they're doing a spring cleanup, unlike volunteers where it's, like picking trash off the road. This sounds more like it's like a community spring cleaning where you can dispose of things from your own home or your own business and dispose of them properly. So they're talking like old electronics, old paint cans, all those things that you're not really sure how to throw them away because maybe they shouldn't actually just go in the trash into a landfill somewhere. Mm-hmm. It's finding a safe way to dispose of all of that kind of stuff. So.
Okay. Do they give free beer?
Not that I know of.
Not interested. Move on.
Sheesh. And there's also, and I'm not familiar with this alleyway. I'm sure people who are in Plaza Midwood are. But Gordon Street alleyway, they're looking to make it safer, make it cleaner, and a friendlier meeting space. So the way it was all worded made it sound like it's kind of like a sketchy little alleyway that a lot of not ideal things happen. And so they're trying to kind of like literally clean it up, make it more of like a cutesy, artsy hangout in this alleyway where it's like a safe place to just chill instead of letting some shady stuff happen. What is this face you're making at me?
Nobody's going to meet in an alleyway and it be friendly. Like, that's not how it works.
See,
like, you know what? Let's go hang out in the alley.
I don't disagree. And as I was saying it, I was like,
waste of money.
Sounds ridiculous.
Yeah.
However, I've read, and I want to go, I've read several articles about places in South End that are little alleyways that are little like artist nooks. And it's these huge like hot spots for artists to come walk through and see what's up and see like they put like the little, almost like a little trellis over the alleyway. So you've little like green plants hanging down and then you've got the sun shining through. And so it makes it this little like artsy haven type of a space.
Seems weird.
I don't disagree, but I think it's possible.
Sure.
I definitely admit that as I was saying that, I was like, oh, this sounds so dumb.
Yeah.
But
no, I'm good.
I have seen photos and I really want to go to these other places that I've read about. I think it's called like in the Gold District of South End. We'll check it out and we'll report back and see what we think on the other ones to see if it's possible.
Let's just drive by it.
That doesn't make it sound worse. We'll do a drive-by.
We'll
do a drive-by of the alley.
As we're walking down the sidewalk, we'll just glance.
Oh, okay. All right, so I'm going to take us back just for a second to the two I had kind of highlighted. And these are two of the programs that I thought were the most intriguing of the future endeavors coming out of Plaza Midwood. And that is the Student Entrepreneur Program, Student Entrepreneur Summit, and the Neighborhood Skill Sessions.
Okay.
So the skill sessions are almost like neighborhood version of like skill pop classes. So it's just basically little pop-up classes for any random stuff that helps benefit you and in the context of your community.
Okay.
And I thought it was a really interesting thing for a neighborhood to come together and do something like that. So most of them are for free. They post them up online. You can just, hey, I'm coming. Good to go. They do things like teaching you what the history of your home is and like the resources you have to look up the history of your home. Because like to us, that seems a little weird. But when you're talking Plaza, Noda, all those areas, you've got these old mill villages. You've got, I mean, we talked about.
Yeah, it's called Look It Up.
Right, but I mean, how much stuff did we specifically went into Uptown Charlotte, into the Charlotte room to get some of the information that just isn't as easily available, or you have to sift through so much when you can have a more direct line. So I just thought that was something that was really cool. And then they do some more practical things. They'll do like dog training, saving for retirement, and they do it within the context of the neighborhood. And so I just thought that was really cool. Like, I mean, I know when I was growing up and in grade school and stuff, we always made the comments of like, why are there no practical classes in high school? Like, I never learned how to balance a checkbook or how to do taxes or, you know, any of that stuff.
Well, it's because that's the government teaching you. and they want you to not know how to do it so that you'll have to pay an extra fee. I mean, come on.
Are we going to start
conspiracy theory?
I was going to say, are we going to start a government conspiracy theory show? Because I don't know many of them, but I am intrigued and I'm ready to talk about them.
I mean, I think it may be hard to just find somebody that knows how to teach that crap. Some people just know how to do it, can't teach it. But
it's very true. But I just really like the idea of kind of giving all of these opportunities for growth in practical ways.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of that missing in the world, so I like it. And the other one, kind of near and dear to my heart for a couple of reasons, was the Student Entrepreneur Summit. And the one hand is obviously like we've started our own business, and so we're still in the process of getting it all figured out. And so I like that aspect of it, and I'm very involved with the youth at my church, and so I really like just investing in kind of the teenagers of our upcoming generation. So it intrigued me from the start, and basically it's a full day session with keynote speakers, breakout sessions, mock interviews, all kinds of different dynamics. And the primary goal is to teach students about entrepreneurship and what that looks like and what it can offer you, and the challenges you'll face, the benefits you can possibly get, and just sort of how to take steps forward to make something happen. And I thought that was a really interesting thing because, and they said it in one of the things I listened to about it as well, is, we're always given this kind of stockpile list of here's what you can do with your life after school. You can go to college, you can go into a trade school, you can go into the military, you can go get a job right out of school. You can go live in your parents' basement. Like, you kind of get these stockpiled same old options, but starting your own business is rarely in that list. And I know it was something I was never really given a real opportunity to do, or at least even discussed for me to think about it. And so now, 31 years old, still trying to figure it out and see if this is, what life is. And so I love the idea of just opening up another avenue for people, especially because we do live in this internet age where, like, being a YouTuber is a viable job these days, and being a professional gamer, or all of these things that are in essence being an entrepreneur in some way, shape, or form are totally viable options. And like, that's what the world's going to. And so I love being able to equip the youth with some basic skill sets of even just like, hey, make sure you've got an LLC, make sure you've got insurance, like just some basic life steps to see where it goes.
I think it even help them if they're not entrepreneurs too. Because you said they do mock interviews. That'll help if you're going to get a job somewhere.
Right. And that's what, there's so many local entrepreneurs and businesses that are involved in it. They had a specific speech from, I forget his name, but the guy who basically helped found Avid Exchange was there. And then Kevin, who Jackie is friends with at Advent Co-working, was there. And so, like, you've got kind of these varying ends of the spectrum of fairly new entrepreneurs and, been in the game for a minute entrepreneurs. And so you're getting this wide spectrum of, this is the process we had to go through, and then also this is what it's looked like recently, and kind of how times have changed, and just what it looks like in our community specifically. And I think it's really cool to give them those skills, but then also to giving them really practical handholds on developing our local community and potentially having a bigger impact in our area, and who knows from there. But it's not just an impact in them as people, but the community as a whole. So I thought that was really cool. I'm not sure what the whole process looks like to apply to be there, if you can just buy a ticket and go, if you have to do some application process through the schools, or what that looks like. But this year's is May 13th, 2019. And yeah, they partner with the Charlotte Business Resources group. Okay. So charlottebusinessresources.com is the thing. And that's kind of who hosts the event. And I couldn't really get any clear information off their website. But if you know any youth, send them that way. It sounds pretty cool. And
we'll link it.
For any businesses or anybody who is interested in participating, I mean, I think that would be something really cool for us to do in a couple of years once we've got a better grasp on everything. And
yeah, they don't want to hear what I know so far because it ain't much.
But it would be real good to talk through the struggles and like just figuring it out yourself and take advantage of the opportunities you get.
Sure.
So, but I just thought it was a really cool way to kind of discuss where the neighborhood of Plaza Midwood is going and what kind of impact they're hoping to have on their own community and into the future. And I really dig that because there's such a historical context for the greater Charlotte area grounded in Plaza Midwood. And I think they're really setting the stage for what the future of the Charlotte area is going to look like as well. Cool. So with that, we are going to dive right into the buzz bracket and let you know who has won round 2.
So round 2. We saw last time all the higher seeds won.
Yes.
This time we saw a few upsets.
We did.
So
that was a pretty exciting round.
Yeah, that was a good change. So Noda Brewing and Salud.
The 1 versus the 8.
We got Noda with that one.
Not a big surprise on that one, I don't think, but
did not get the highest number of votes this time though.
That was a little surprising. It was close, but yeah. So the second matchup was a Wooden Robot and Unknown. The 5 versus the 4.
Yep. Wooden Robot with the highest votes this second round.
Took the upset.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Yeah, 5-4. So that was one of them.
I mean, obviously it's a very close matchup in that sense, but they were lower ranked. They did take the win, and by a very large margin.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, was sad to me because Unknown's my OG, but
yeah.
Fair enough. Next year, activate your horde, people.
So the 6 and the 3 seed, Old Mecklenburg and Resident Culture.
This is the one that I wanted to watch because I didn't know if it'd go to the OG or the new guy on the block who had a sort of cult following.
So it went to the new guy.
It sure did. That's
Resident
why we
Culture.
are drinking their beer right now.
Yep.
If that wasn't a dead giveaway of the matchup.
Yeah, they were the higher seed, but I kind of still feel like this one's an upset.
I agree.
Feels
like an age upset.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next, we've got Sugar Creek and Lenny Boy, the 7 versus the 2.
Lenny Boy. Got the W on that one.
Not a big surprise there, I don't think either. Especially with the whole kombucha undertone.
Yeah, they
second
was double
market.
dipping.
Yeah.
Double dipping their fans. The closest, most exciting matchup of this round was Birdsong and D9.
And I thought Cabarrus and Salud was interesting last week, but
yeah, this one was
blew it out the water.
Yeah, it was really tight. What, about 15 votes ish?
Yeah, that's about all that
area.
Divided that.
Yeah, out of over almost 800 votes, they only came. I mean, they were within 15 to 20 of each other.
Yeah, it was dang close. We really weren't sure how that was going to go, but
yeah, I think D9 had a couple of days where they had more. They had 2 days. Two of the 5 where they had the most votes for that day.
And the other ones were dang close.
Yeah.
But yeah, Birdsong did come out with the win, but that was definitely every single day we were checking that one and keeping our eye on it for sure.
And that would have been a 1-8.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was really close considering the disparity. Yeah. Is that the right word?
Sure.
The distance between the two.
So good job, D9.
Yeah, you did really well. They definitely did start activating their horde there in the latter half. I'm not sure if they did at the beginning, and that might have been where that turn was.
It was like in the middle there.
Yeah.
Really.
That literally could have made the difference had they started a little early.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Birdsong has caught on to this at all, so.
They haven't even acknowledged us. I don't think they have.
But but it was dang close. It was really good to watch. So D9, I'll be holding out for you next year.
Yeah.
I want to see how that goes.
Yeah. Them and Cabarrus.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm excited to see next year for them too.
Yeah. All right, so next we've got the other 5-4 matchup between Legion and Catawba. Legion being the 5, Catawba being the 4.
Yeah, and Legion brought this one home.
They sure did.
I felt good about it, though.
Yeah.
I feel like they needed to win that.
They needed to win it. Yes, I do vouch for Catawba being a local brewery because they do brew here, but Legion's more local.
Yeah.
And, again, they're kind of ROG. They've been the most loyal to our bracket and promoting and everything.
And they were open on a snow day.
Yes, we went there on my birthday, my 30th birthday.
That's right.
Y'all, I turned 30 last year. You're welcome because I gave everybody 3 days of snow last January and turned the whole city into ice. But we went to Legion and there were
they were
parents.
Still open.
There were parents
pulling
with
their
their
kids on
little kids on sleds in the brewery, just walking them around in circles.
So family friendly if you're into that kind of thing.
Yeah, that was cool. But yeah, so that was technically another upset, 5-4. But I'm glad Legion pulled it out also.
The one that doesn't feel like an upset, but is
technically is
the biggest upset that we had.
Yeah, that's true.
It's the 6 and 3, with Sycamore being the 6 and Free Range being the 3.
And that wasn't exactly a close race. I mean, it wasn't a crazy far race either, but. And yeah, does not feel like an upset whatsoever, but that is our biggest one.
Sure.
And then last but not least, we've got Triple C and Heist, the 7 and the 2. And Heist took it.
Yeah.
Which, Triple C made a good showing of it. Mm-hmm. Definitely have a good following there. But, I mean, I think we both had called it in Heist's favor either way, and they pulled it out. But it was a good showing all around. So well done, everybody in the Sweet 16, but now it's time for the Elite 8.
So our Elite 8 matchups are the 1 seed Noda versus the 5 seed Wooden Robot.
Which will be interesting because in the first 2 rounds, it was both of, like, Noda had the most votes in round 1. Wooden had the most in round 2. Yeah. And Noda came they were less than 15 away from each other.
Yeah, this time.
So
that should be interesting.
I like Noda for that one.
Yeah.
I'm actually a little surprised by how much Wooden Robot got. Maybe just because it's not exactly my favorite brewery, that I don't realize quite the following or culture they've got there, but I'm very surprised by how well they did this past round. So I will be interested to watch this matchup, but I like Noda for it.
Yeah. We also have the 3 seed Resident Culture versus the 2 seed Linneboy. So we'll see if it's that New England IPA or kombucha.
I mean, kind of, yeah.
They also make beer.
They do. Yes, they do. But they're double dipping. That's all we're saying by to keep bringing up the kombucha. I think that'll be a tight matchup too. I personally would have to go Resident Culture.
Yeah,
for a couple of different reasons. I think,
for Resident Culture to take down Old Mac as easy as they did, I kind of feel like Linneboy.
They going down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it's gonna be close. I don't.
Okay.
I got a feeling.
I can see that.
Unless Linneboy can share it 500 times, and
I don't think Linneboy shared it at all yet either.
Yeah. So prove us wrong, I guess.
I mean, I don't think Resident has either.
Yeah, but maybe nobody except for Legion has shared it. No, Legion and Heist that are still left.
I was like, D9 did. They got knocked out.
Yeah, but Legion and Heist.
Out of who's left?
Yeah.
That might be it. You're right. I think Noda has once or twice. I think Noda has, because I was, I think, a little surprised by it actually.
Yeah, you were fangirling
a little bit. They know we exist. That was the level of fangirling.
We've won enough stuff from there. They should know we exist.
Yes, but that person who I directly was in contact with doesn't work there anymore. So
Golly.
we got to make new friends there.
Yeah. Okay, so
Birdsong.
yeah, the right side is
Birdsong at the number 1 seed versus the number 5 seed, Legion. What do you think about this one? I have thoughts, but I want to hear yours first. That's how hesitant I am. Yep.
I don't know.
I feel like Birdsong is in a good spot at 1 seed, like at the top seed. Like it makes sense for them. They've got a couple years behind them. They've got a good following.
Solar panels. They still
They're for
have
the
them.
earth.
They're for the earth.
But again, Legion has been about it since day one.
Yeah, day one.
They have their horde activated and ready to go, and they are all about it.
Yeah.
And they've got the momentum of their new South Park location to kind of double dip in the greater Charlotte area for votes.
So, yeah, I have to show love for people who show us love.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm going to
root
say
for Legion.
I'm going to say it. I'm going to go ahead and call it.
I think this might be our...
Just to say it.
Mm-hmm. I think this might be our match to watch this time.
Yeah.
Because of that, but I think
the next one will be.
You're not wrong there either. I mean, we're in the Elite 8. Like, it's all about to get interesting, but you're not wrong with some of those early ones either. I'm going to have to call it for Legion. I'm hoping for Legion. You've got to let us know. Go vote.
Yeah, so...
Final matchup.
Sycamore at the 6 versus Heist at the 2.
Yikes.
Yeah, neither one of them have had it real difficult so far in the tourney.
Yeah.
As far as vote getting.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't had any close matchups per se.
Mm-hmm.
So, no compare and contrast. They're kind of... I mean, this round they were, 20 vote difference?
Yeah.
So...
Which again, comes back. But see, that's also the thing is, Sycamore was against Free Range, which yes, technically was a higher seed. But I feel like they don't have that big of like a following per se.
Well, technically they have to be a higher seed.
I get that. But I mean...
Maybe they just have better marketing?
Maybe it's the same thing with me and Wooden Robot. I've not been to Free Range. Maybe I just have no clue because I haven't been. Which is probably what the case is.
You're just not in the know.
Yeah. But I feel like Triple C has a decent following, and they tried to give Heist a run for their money. Like, it was close enough that, like, they definitely put up a good fight, where Free Range didn't. And so, for Sycamore and Heist to be so close in votes this past round, I don't feel like is a good comparison exactly.
Okay.
For how well Heist... I don't know. And there's not enough history in the bracket for us to really give good comparisons. Like, we're just shooting the shit here, really. But I think I'm going to have to call it for Heist. I think that's what I'm going to go with. Again, they've got the 2 locations now, so that builds a little more momentum for them to be on people's minds. A little more in the... let's go visit there, let me, so it's like, oh, I really liked this new, whatever. They are the higher seed. I feel like Sycamore, I mean, they're both OGs. It may come down to a Noda versus South End off. I mean, it could just become a locational pride type of thing.
Yeah, I think, who I'm not going to pull for per se, but who I would like to see win is Heist.
Okay. Because
in case you have forgotten, that would be my number 2 favorite beer. Is that one I've decided that we've tried so far? The Stratisfaction.
You put the Salute up top, didn't you?
Yep.
So you've got Salute, Heist, Cabarrus.
Yes.
Where I've got Cabarrus, Salute, and then Heist is still a question mark because everything prior to that was. I would have to put this currently, the IPL, at my number 3. But not, again, it's not in a bad way. Like, I like it. I just like IPAs better. But I'm happily sitting here drinking a lager.
And that surprises you enough to make it at number 3? That we've tried so far?
Well, like I said, the rest prior to...
You don't remember?
No.
Okay.
Not enough to... So, technically, at the list that I'm remembering right now,
okay,
it's at the bottom of it, but it's not... This is the first non-IPA that I've happily drank. Mm-hmm. So...
And after the bracket, we're going to start doing our untapped stuff, so we'll remember better.
Yes, we'll do much better with all of that. Right now, we're figuring out this whole bracket thing. We're working through it, because in the same way that we're trying to figure out these stats round 1, we're prepping to make next year so much better, so.
Yeah. But, yeah, so I got Heist on that one. Just, they have the chicken and waffle tacos. Mm-hmm. Stratisfaction, and Sycamore, while Mountain Candy's pretty solid, and Love Jones that we had
I did like Love Jones a lot.
Was pretty good. Or 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. I just like Heist better. So
yeah, Heist tends to do a lot more of the IPAs and the hazy stuff that I like. So I have to.
Okay.
But time will tell. And your votes will tell. So,
and we'll see who's in Final Four. Mm-hmm. The Final Pour.
The Final Pour. So, if you're catching this when it comes out Thursday morning, voting has already started. You'll get voting Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Mm-hmm. So you get 5 chances to vote on Instagram. It'll be on Twitter. We've been putting it up on Reddit. That's how this whole bracket started. But really, we're not getting any kind of feedback there. So, we're just going to kind of cut our losses with it, I guess. Yeah. So go to Twitter and Instagram at VanGo Creative, VanGo Creative.
Mm-hmm. This is actually your last chance for head-to-head matchups.
Oh, you're right.
So then it'll be a free-for-all.
Yeah, then it's
in the Final Pour.
Oh, I forgot that it gets crazy.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that next week. But last week for head-to-head, 5 chances on Instagram. Go follow us. Get in those stories. If for some reason you're not familiar with Instagram voting, when you click through the stories in the middle, it just will say, Noda and Wooden Robot. Noda and Wooden Robot. And you just tap one. And that's your vote. Because we've had some actual pretty interesting interactions with people who are either sending us direct messages with votes or sending us emails saying there's no possible way to vote or a bunch of other stuff. So if it's not in your sphere, just click our logo. It'll pop up with the stories. Click whichever name you want and it'll pop up with the percentage so you'll know your vote was registered. And then keep clicking through and do the next one. Yeah. Anything else you'd like to throw out there to anybody?
About the bracket?
Anything.
Nah.
All right. Well, then. All right.
Nah, I'm good.
So,
we said it all.
Check us out on the Charlotte Buzz, anywhere you get your podcasts. Check us out on YouTube if you want to see some really awesome graphics that Drew's put together for these matchups.
They're beautiful.
They are. Like, comment, subscribe, follow on all the social medias and YouTube and podcasts so that we can get better gear and things so that our videos match the quality of our graphics, which are much better. Yeah. And we will see you all next week with the Final Pour.
Dun, dun, dun. Check you later.
Bye.